met you in a town. You gave me fever. No need to tell me all. Your eyes I always remember. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream today. Let me know with a huge hello in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me properly, making sure we have no technical issues, because today we're going to be talking about a very exciting topic. How do you collaborate with 300 plus people in Notion? And I think that's a pretty tall task to ask about or even talk about because, well, when we think about big systems and how we can integrate with them, how we can work together in these big systems, there's a lot of nitty gritty involved. Like, how do you have a good dashboard that lets everybody see what they need to see, right? No matter what role they are in the organization, whether they are, a manager, a project manager, or even perhaps the founder, at any stage of management, what do you see and what should you see, right? In terms of a dashboard. And as well, what are the permissions just in case people have any trouble seeing all the things that they need to see and as on a need to know basis, right? For example, you may not want someone that's in the sales department of your organization seeing something that's in the finances department, right? And again, depends what kind of company you are, what kind of organization you are. But I wanted to show you a cool example of how in our Coix3 family, in our little community, how we're helping hundreds of people work together on the initiatives that they care about. And that's very important, right? You got to find out which initiatives that you specifically care about, and then making sure that you have all the tools to go and work on them effectively. So I'm super excited about today's live stream. I'm not going to get too much about the overall big picture right now. Let's just go straight into it and let's show you what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to switch my screen over. Let's look at here. And as usual, whenever I start a build, I like to talk about the why, what, and hows. I like to make sure that what we're building is completely clear and transparent to not only me, but also you, so that we can all have a great view of what exactly we want to accomplish and why we want to accomplish it, and of course, how we're going to get there. So let's talk about this a little bit. What do we want, or why do we want it? Perhaps we can start there, right? So we want a way to help the 300 plus family members who are actively involved and in our community. So that's in Guilded, as well as on Notion. So if you check right now, we actually have, let me just show you quickly, guys. If you go to settings and members, we actually have 320 members inside our team plan. That's crazy. That's a load of people. So how are we going to make sure that everybody is in the right, having the right permissions that they should have in accordance to what they want to contribute in the family, right? Some people may just want to contribute on a project level. Some people might want to contribute on a key result level, some on a goal level, a vision level, what have you. But how do we make sure that they are able to see what they need to see? So a way to help the 300 plus family members who are actively involved in our community as well on Notion to collaborate, right? A way we want them to be able to see what they want to see in terms of how they want to help. One big part of our community is that we want to empower our family members that want to help in specific areas that we get involved in our family, right? Whether it be language learning or perhaps philosophy, daily stoic. Essentially, what you want to level up in your own life, how can you push that into the community and make sure that everyone can level up with you and also get the shared benefits of, having collaboration there, whether it be shared motivation or whether it be, just help organizing various things, or just even just the idea that you're not alone in your journey is very, very motivating. So we want them to be able to see what they want to see in terms of how they want to help. And we want to make sure that everybody feels included in the big picture of the community and where we are going. I think that's really important, right? Making sure that everyone feels included. I personally feel like, you know, having run a company for quite many years now, I know that when you don't really know where the company is going or what, you know, I guess the head honchos, right, or the leadership team has in mind, it's very hard for you to get motivated and, you know, in tune with what exactly the whole organization is doing and how can you contribute there. So I think it's really cool that we're able to create a transparent system, right, that opens up the doors and opens up the views, all right, in this case for Notion, of exactly what's going on and where you can plug yourself in. I think that's very, very important. So big picture is very, very important. So what do we need? What do we need? I think it's really cool to start planning out like the outcomes, right? Like let's say after this live stream, what are we going to accomplish? What are the outcomes of this live stream? What's going to be outcome for you, the viewer watching? If you want to build your own collaborative teams in Notion, what can you expect to get out of it? Well, we can expect to have a big picture view that allows individuals to see their own respective responsibilities. Actually, this should be the second one, but a big picture view allows individuals to see the entire organization and what everybody is working on. A macro view to see their own respective responsibilities for the medium term. So I'm talking about like the next 1 month. So this is probably 1 quarter plus. That's the range of the dates that you'd be looking through. A macro view to see their own respective responsibilities. We probably want to see as well as wins. A macro view to see their own respective responsibilities for the medium term, so 1 month ahead, and then also a micro view to see their own respective responsibilities for the short term, which is 1 day to 1 week. And I think these are very important because now you can see like, okay, so I'm coming in here, the outcome is that I know exactly what the organization is doing, as well as what people have won recently in terms of how they've been successful in their own responsibilities. So I can congratulate them and I can also get involved in their success, right? And see how I can plug myself in. Then a macro view to see all my responsibilities for the medium term, where the projects that I care about and I want to actively push and actively, accomplish. And then finally the micro view, where I don't want to be boggled down by any of those things, and I just want to focus on what I need to do for the day. So very important stuff. Now, something for the admin side though. Admin side is probably an admin screen that helps the administrator detail out the permissions for each critical table and dashboard, so that when a new user is onboarded, the setup is easy and seamless. So that's one thing I'm going to be teaching you guys that's going to be very important is, well, when you plan out these pages, you can't just plan it out and leave it be. You need to have ample documentation so that the next person that comes in doesn't have to be a brand new process. That's why I like building systems. Systems are important because when you start building a checklist of, hey, this is A to Z of how you should do something, essentially you're making it so that this process is repeatable, not only by yourself, but by anybody who's coming on to potentially work with you or even help you. So I think this is very, very important. And by the way, guys, let me know in chat if you guys are excited for the initiatives coming out. There's just so many things going on in the family that I'm so proud that so many of you guys are already signing up for different initiatives, getting involved. I think it's really fun. Tell me what initiative you're very excited by in the chat, because I think everybody would love to know. Okay, how? Well, how is important, right? So how is that we want to have probably one duplicatable dashboard for each new user coming in. We probably also want to have a comprehensive permissions list for our databases, and we probably also want to have a big picture view for anybody signing into the system as their landing page. Okay, and the comprehensive permission list will involve instructions on how to onboard new users and which user group has access to what pages. And a big picture view will probably have, you know, the goals, key results, projects, tasks. We also want to probably show the daily quests, right? What's been happening recently and what's been accomplished recently consistently. And then also content that we're working on. The duplicate dashboard is going to have the keep life simple. And then also we would have probably the daily planning dashboards. Okay. So execution, and this is planning. Awesome. So let's figure this out. Let's talk about it, and let's switch over to what we call the X control. So this is a really awesome page because it's the accumulation of the L control, which if you're not familiar with, it's basically our most comprehensive system for life control, and making it into a collaborative page where everybody can come in and see exactly what's happening in our family. Let me walk you through this. So when you go through this page, basically, I'm only using the views actually that you've already can find inside the backend of the L control system, and I'll walk you through that in a sec. But I want to let you know that just from the moment that you duplicate L control, you actually already have access to all these different views that are going to be very critical for your organization to be able to see exactly what's happening inside, you know, what everyone else is doing. So when I scroll through, you're going to see there's the big picture where you can see all the goals that currently our family is working on. We want to be consistent with content. We want to make a global family. We want to start some collaborative initiatives. We want to have mastery of the L control system by our family members. At the moment, we have 4 big goals for this quarter. I can also switch to key results, meaning that I can see what objectives we have for the coming quarter. So we have, you know, some email flows we want to do, some level up alumni, some themes that we're releasing out, internship positions, gilded space, like a lot of stuff that, you know, currently that we're working on that you can see it's about to get accomplished. You can also see our projects, all our active projects that we currently have. These are everything that we're, you know, working on, whether it be, you know, more templates or, you know, finding out our leadership team, putting that together for this quarter, our website revamps. That's really exciting. That's coming out probably in just a few days. So that's very, very exciting. And of course, also all the different quests that we're working on right now. You can see all the things that are potentially running a bit late, things that are, you know, being worked out, and all those kind of things. So you can really see a big picture of what everything that's going on inside the family. Then you can also see the areas of competence, and these are all the different buckets that we want to be really good at. We want to, and our definition of them, right? What does self-care mean for us? Well, we value physical and mental health before all else. Everybody has to be healthy before everyone can improve themselves or work on personal development, things like that. And also, of course, our values are also very strongly mapped out here. We care about collaboration, innovation, making a difference, open-mindedness, quality, passion. So basically, you can see it as like, hey, once you come in, you already see the vision and mission just straight up front. Then you can see, for example, this week's wins. You can see all the wins that we've had this week recently, you know, whether they were handed in on time, or what was the importance of those things, whether it be a high impact or medium impact or low impact. And then you can also see our daily quests, for example. So things that happened recently in the family that eventually we're going to collect all the highlights and put it inside our weekly newsletter, which comes out every Monday. So that's really exciting. And you can see, you know, the progress of all the daily quests that's done every single day. So for example, we can open one up. Let's just see an example. maybe this one, we can see like, we can see all the different things that we've done for the week, for the day, some highlights, some reflections, perhaps we're stuck on something, we gotta figure out what we're stuck on, and then essentially figure out the different things that we could do the next day that can help us really advance our progress in each day. And also, of course, you can see all the content they're working on. For example, the video that's coming out today, as well as the video coming out tomorrow. I've hidden a lot of stuff just for purposes of this stream. We don't want to spoil anything for the people that are not inside our community. But for example, if you're inside our community, you can see all the things that's coming up, all the things that we're working on, as well as you can add your own input, right? You can see the early previews and you can say, hey, I actually want to get involved in this specific area. I want to add my 2 cents and review this content. That's what you can do as well. Okay, so how does it work when you get a certain person coming in that wants to help with a different part of the system? Well, we have this thing called Let's Make a Dashboard for You. Let's click that. Let's see where that goes. And you can see that this creates collaborative dashboards. Now, before we go there, I do want to show you something about the guts. So the guts is basically just everything that we normally see inside the L control system after you duplicate. And I want to show you something about the backend and views, because I do want to show you that essentially everything that we've done in the first page in terms of setting up that initial system and setting up the views are all views that you will find inside the backend and views anyways. So if I go to areas of competence and I scroll down to the view section, you can actually see that if I just configure a template just to show you guys, these views look very similar, right? The values views look very similar. The areas look very similar. I took out the thumbnail for that. But you can see that all I did was basically just copy and paste the view over. And how you would do that, just in case you're not very familiar with that process, you click the 6 dots here, you press Control or Command C, and then you go back to the dashboard that you want to paste it on, and you make some space for it. Let's say I put a little plus icon there. And then I Control or Command V to paste the template block. Basically what happens is I can now click on this generation and I can generate this view anywhere that I want, anytime that I want, so that I can just easily have these views anywhere that I need it to be. And just like that, you can make a very comprehensive dashboard anytime you want, anywhere you want. So that's a cool tips and tricks for you to really understand how to use the power of our modular system. Okay, cool. So I'm going to delete this because we already have a nice view up there. We don't really care about this right now. And I'm going to show you how the collaborative dashboard looks. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to go down to the bottom, hit this Create Collaborative Dashboards. And we have something here called Generate New Collaborator. Let's do this and let's follow along, okay? So I'm going to generate the new collaborator and I'm going to click this link. And then it's going to give me a new example collaborator. Awesome. I get redirected into there. I'm going to say, for example, this is me. So I'm going to say Conrad collaborator. Okay. And I'm going to personalize this page. That's what I just did. I made the name myself. Maybe I might even change the icon to, something like my face, so I know it's me. Let's just do that quickly. Maybe I'll go and just find a quick picture of myself. Let's find it in here. And let's use this picture. Perfect. So that's me. I know this is my page. I might favorite this page. So I might go and favorite this page. I press the favorite button in the top right. So after I hit that, then I'm able to see it in my sidebar. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so everyone can see it a bit better. And then I'm going to duplicate the pages above. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these two. And then I'm going to click the duplicate button, which means that I'm actually going to be making the duplicate version of the master dashboard of Make Life Simple and Daily Family Planning, and essentially making that my own, making my own copy of it so that I can move around the views however I want, whenever I want, and not have to disturb anyone else's workflow. Cool. So I have these two now. I'm going to put them side by side, and I'm going to delete the linked views because I don't need them anymore, just in case I accidentally go in there and damage something. And then it says to rename my new dashboards. Okay, so I can click these 6 dots. I can click rename, and I'm going to say Conrad's Make Life Simple. And I'm going to click these 6 dots and click rename, and I'm going to say Conrad's daily family planning, and then I'm done. So I'm going to quickly go in and show you what you see. Okay, so I'm going to open these up. And let's go first in daily family planning, because that's where you would need to go anyway first to actually start assigning yourself tasks and projects. So let's go in there, and right now off the top of the bat, we can see our reference for the key results and projects that we can work on this week. And essentially what we can do here is we can see like, hey, these are all the key results that are currently on deck for everyone to work on. These are things that are either coming up or starting to get a bit late. We can also see all our projects that we're currently working on that are only in focus for me. So you see that there's actually a filter that says where collaborator contains me or upstream contains me. What does that mean? I'll explain that really quickly. That's going to be very cool in a bit. And I can also show you, like, for example, you can see all the mission boards, all the different things that are inside our inbox, right? Whether they be content, ideas, or action items that we want to do. And we can immediately see all the things that we want to focus on, which are ready to start for me, as well as the projects in focus for me. So how does this work? Let's talk about this really quickly, right? So if I come in, I might be interested, and I'm going to use a very simple example first. I might be interested in helping for a very specific item, so a very specific success plan item, meaning that maybe it's a task that I want to help with, maybe it's working on perhaps the website revamp, but only for making the blog overview page, or I might be wanting to be involved in the entire project, meaning that any of the downstream tasks that are created, I also want to be involved and I want to see them come up as they are ready to be worked on. So let's show the two examples, right? Let's say I make sure that my name is on the blog overview page. So I'm going to add my name here just quickly just to show you. And let's say I take off my name for the website revamp. So I'm going to take off my name, and we can see that Cass is also working on this, which is amazing. And then once I took off my name, actually all the other website revamp ones disappeared from here. That's really interesting, right? The moment I took off my name for the website revamp, immediately I got removed from the view for seeing all the other tasks that have to do with this website revamp. That makes it really simple for me to only focus on the things I need to focus on. And let's say I do want to focus on making the blog overview page today, I can then go into my active quest and I can drag it into my active quest so I can start working on it today. So for example, I can go and I can make the blog overview page. I can drag it into here, and boom, this is something that I can work on today. Okay. And then when I go to, for example, my Make Life Simple dashboard, which I'm going to go and scroll down into this section of Go Get That Bread, it's the execution page, I can find the time block here, and I can see that Make the Blog Overview page is something that I should be doing, right? If I check the filter, again, these are all things that Collaborator actually contains me. And then I can go and I can drag them into a block that I want to work them on, maybe block number 1. And this is the time block of the day that I'm going to work on this thing. So this is actually really interesting because this makes it so that when I come in, no matter what I'm interested in, again, if I'm interested on a project level, on a key result level, or a goal level, I can just tag myself to that higher, that I want to call it like that big upstream item, and everything downstream will automatically be shown for me so that I can consider if I should look into it or not, if I should concentrate on it or not. Let me give you another example that might be very interesting, and I'm just going to undo everything here so that I can have it back to reset. And let's say I go back into the website revamp as well, and I add myself again as a collaborator. Let's see how to do that. Let's add myself back as a collaborator, and you can see immediately all the other items that have, for example, upload all initiatives. This doesn't have my name on it, actually. I can open it up. It doesn't have my name on it, but it still shows up here for me to take a look at and consider putting into my active quest to do, because on the upstream, I already have a tag for myself in the collaborators. And you can see this is how it's done is you do where collaborators contains me, and also you make a rollup property called the upstream collaborator, right? Any contains me as well, and that's pretty fun. And I'll show you the technical details of how that works in a sec. I just want to make sure that you guys understand exactly how this works and why it's so important and why it's so critical. I'm also going to add one thing, perhaps. I'm going to add something here, probably just to show you as an example. I'm going to show you collaborators so you can just really see who's working on it. You can see what their names are down here. So again, collaborators here, we can see this has my name on it, and I'm going to show you collaborators here if these have my name on it or not. So let's show you that these all have my name on it as well. Perfect. And this has cat on it. So these are all just good examples for you to see. So let's say actually, right? Let's just say that I actually didn't want to get involved in the website revamp to start. What I wanted to get involved in was I wanted to make sure that I was in charge of making sure that this internal initiative page is going to be, actually, let's not use that one. Let's actually figure out the kickoff family initiatives. Let's take my name off this, okay? And so again, that doesn't show again for my projects in focus. It does, and all the downstream tasks don't show up anymore. So let's say I come in here and I say, okay, I want to be in charge of delivering this objective of making sure that we have an internal initiative page. It was actually done, by the way, so I can also show you how we hand in some work. But I want to make sure that I'm in charge of this and I'm responsible for the outcomes here. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to add my name as a collaborator, and then immediately this shows up in my projects in focus, even though it doesn't have my name on it. And why this happens is because, again, we have this filter for upstream collaborators, any contains me. And let's show you how that works, how that looks like. If I expand the properties inside this success plan item, you're going to see that we have this thing called upstream collaborators. Basically, it's reading off the relation of upstream. Again, this is why I think it's really cool having one big database that contains all your goals, your key results, your projects and tasks, because it makes it really easy for you to make really cool incestual relationships or incestual properties that essentially help you read from the one above and keep training up and up and up without having to make new redundant properties and make new redundant filters. So in this case, all I have to do is set upstream collaborators show original, and no matter if it's a key result, a project, or a task, it's always going to show you the upstream if yourself is in charge of it or collaborated on it, and therefore anything downstream can be easily shown for whatever purposes you need. In this case, we want to show that, hey, this is something that you might consider to be working on. And of course, if I go into here and I say I want to get involved in kickoff family initiatives because the upstream key result is something that I'm responsible for, then everything downstream also immediately shows up. And then I can see that, hey, these are the items that I should be focusing on in relation to kickoff family initiatives. Let me know if you guys have any questions, by the way, about this. This is quite complex. This is like a lot of like fine tuning, and it took me a long while to figure this out. I think it took me like half a year to actually get to a point where Notion had enough technical capabilities to handle a lot of these things. So I think that's pretty cool and something for you to definitely look into and just see how I think about things. Okay, so that's like the initial basic points, and here's where I'm going to start talking about the different people that want to get involved in our family. So let me go and open a page up to start planning out all the permissions. Okay, so if I go actually into our areas, and let's say that we want to go into sustainable because we want to create a new sub area for this. We want to create a new master, so let's create a new master, or perhaps it's a tractor. I think it's a tracker. So we're going to call this a tracker. We're going to say permissions for X control. And now we can say that we can start opening this up. We want to review this probably monthly. Just make sure that every month we're going to come in and just make sure that it's reasonable and everything works out well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start mapping out all the different user groups. Okay, so let's make a table here. And I'm going to make this open as page because I usually like to do that. It's really helpful for me to be able to see everything that we need to work on. Let's call these user groups right here. User groups. And let's call this X control permissions, okay? And what I'm talking about here is we have 4 different user groups. We have the let's call this the cox3 contributors. We also have the cox3 leaders. We also have the cox3 moderators. Okay. And also we have, additional specific focus groups, and I'm going to talk about that in a sec. But let me just make some tags here, and we can maybe call this one contributors. We're going to make this one contributors as well. This one leaders. And then we're going to make this one moderators. And then why this is important, I'm going to make another contributors, and I'm going to make an example called perhaps cox3 theme contributors. So we have like generic contributors, and we also have theme contributors, and I'll explain why that's specifically important for the management of the user permissions here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to show something called let's say can have view only. I'm going to show edit. I'm going to also say that this is comments. So there's 3 different levels of how, like, of what pages, of what master level pages that each of these different individuals or these different groups can get involved in. So let me just show you quickly, like, the groups wise. Okay, so I'm going to go into here. I'm going to show groups, and as an example, we have 2 theme contributors, right? And these are examples. I've removed all the names just as an example to start. We have someone that's a general contributor. We have leaders in the family. We have our moderators as well as interns, but interns is actually going to be looped now into our contributors. So I'm going to be cleaning that up a little bit. But essentially the idea is that each one of our specific initiatives will have their own user group, just in case that there's specific pages that they need to see that's based on the areas of competence. And then we're going to have different levels of engagement and permissions to ensure that people don't accidentally delete things that they shouldn't delete. So the first thing I want to teach you guys, the first thing that's very important for you guys to know, is that you can now set child permissions to be different than the master level permissions. What does that mean? Well, if I show the share button right now, I can see that here everybody can view. The contributors can view, the leaders can view, the interns can view, the moderators can view. And obviously I have full access right now. But normally, like around 2 months ago, I think, what Notion had was, if I had a page inside here, let's say I went to the guts, and I wanted to see what the permissions were, you'd see that all the permissions are actually inherited from X control. That's pretty normal. But now what you can do is you can go in and you can actually restrict specific access or give additional access to child pages. Let me show you what I mean. So when I go to backend and views now, I can show you that actually we can see that contributors can only comment, leaders can only comment, interns can only comment, but moderators can edit. That's really important because this means that we're making sure that moderators can go in and edit any page here, and there'll be no holds, right? Any moderator can come in and edit because that's their right, and I trust them enough so that they won't, disturb anything when they actually go and change things, right? Whereas people that are just brand new to our community that just want to help may not also want to have the danger of accidentally deleting everything in the system and then causing us to have to back up and recover from our backup. So immediately here, we already see that we have can comments is something that we want to already restrict access to. So let's just show here permissions for L control. Everybody views only is the X control page. So what I want to do here is show X control, and I'm going to copy the link here so that I can easily access it if I need be. And I'm going to now just copy and paste it across all of them. So everybody has view only access for X control. Okay. X control, X control, and X control. What does moderators have added access to? They have added access to backend and views. So I'm going to say backend, and the moderators have access to it, but the rest of the community can comment on it. So they can still add feedback if they would want to, so they can comment. And the way that permissions work is that obviously the highest level is edit, then anybody can edit. You don't need to put in details about if they can comment or view, because obviously if they can edit, they can also comment and view. So that's pretty important. And when you go and start thinking about it, then what's the importance here? Well, actually, if you're a contributor, then you also definitely need to edit our specific pages, which are going to be, for example, the areas of the success plan as well as the daily quest. So if I go into success plan, you can see that we already currently have, again, different permissions, whereas the contributors can edit, the leaders can edit, the interns can edit, and moderators can obviously edit based on the backend and views already. So really cool. What we're going to do here is we're going to say areas of competence, or actually, sorry, I keep saying areas, but success plan is what I mean. And success plan is here, and this is just the place where we keep all the projects, the goals, the key results, and tasks, if you're not familiar. So we can go here, again, contributors can edit, leaders can edit. I'm going to actually put in a, why I don't want interns to be a specific thing, and because if I now go to, I'm going to show you actually, for example, I'll go to welcome to the family. I'll show you our get involved page, which highlights all the different initiatives that the whole community is getting involved in. We can see that all the positions now, it's very individual based on each initiative. So therefore there would be no internship that's across everything, right? So that's why I'm thinking that, again, they will be part of the bucket of contributors / interns. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so the success plan, the contributors have to access, obviously. And then also the daily quest, I would want them to be accessing. So let's go into there. And we can see that if I go back to the system and I go to daily quest, I can see that this is a page where, again, everybody can edit, and one of them is based on the backend and views. So let's call it daily quest. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to copy the URL, go back, paste it right in, and then now we have these two things. So again, they can edit on daily quest, and then so I'm setting up, like, I want to basically share, like, the way you want to set up permissions is you want to have one user group that represents the whole group, that gives them all the basic level of permissions. And then anybody that has a specific function, again, the theme contributors, for example, will get an additional page on top of that. So let me show you what I mean by there. So let's say I go into the theme contributors, and I want to say, hey, there's actually going to be a page, one specific page that you guys can see. So I'm going to go into, for example, I'm going to go into the X control, and I'm going to add something under sharing. Let's say I want to add theme best practices. I'm going to add something here called theme creation best practices. Okay. So when I create this and I make it a master, because it's a best practice, of course, and I'm going to set this review frequency to quarterly, and I'm just going to put example content here. What happens is I can now go into here, right? And I can add one more thing into here. I can say, hey, I want to add the group for theme contributors to have edit access. So immediately the theme contributors, which have two group members, can actually see this page, which is inside our areas of competence, which, by the way, I've made it so that the areas of competence is only viewable. So let me show you how I've restricted it. You can see the restriction page here. You can see that it was restricted to everyone but moderators to be able to see. Again, this is just by design. I think the whole vision and mission level, or the vision level rather, for areas and for values, it's important for our moderators to be very in tune in that, but maybe not so much for everyone else. So we wanted to make sure that this is something that's, all the different pages that are under the areas of competence, whether it be, things like finances or anything like that, that's all something that our moderators can see, but not necessarily something that everybody can see, because that's not something is extremely important for collaboration. So we can go into here and we can see that, okay, so what is definitively blocked? Okay, so I want to say something here. There's one more that says blocked. So if you're blocked for view for this, for example, the areas of competence, then we would know that from there on, anything that shows the area of competence, normally you wouldn't be able to see unless you specifically got permissions for it. So I can show you here that this is blocked, areas of competence is blocked here. I'm going to paste it across here. And again, when you are a theme contributor, because you are also you are a child of the Coistery contributor, then no, there's no problem with that in the sense that you don't need to have a block for areas of competence because you're already part of the contributors list. That's the whole idea, right? You have these kind of things where you're already part of two groups, and the one group, the major group that you're part of, defines what you can see, what you can't see, and then the next thing just adds additional value. So here's, we can add additional value here where you can say you can get involved in the theme best practices. What do we call that? Just quickly checking. So it's part of our sharing, and we called it our theme creation best practices, just as an example for now. Theme creation best practices. Okay, and then here is where we can show that this is a link there, so I can find it later if I need be. I'm going to open it up, and now I can go back to this page and I can paste it in here. And now immediately I can see that if I was logging in as a theme contributor, I can see specifically the things that I'm meant to see. I'm actually going to show you that right now. I want to show you that. I'm going to log in as an example. So let me go and give myself some permissions. I'm going to go into groups, and I'm going to now, let's say, give myself access. So I'm going to, let's say, cool. I'm going to go to theme contributors. I'm going to add my test account. I'm going to go to my group 4. Actually, I'm going to just delete this for now because I don't think we need interns period. And then I'm going to go to contributors, and I'm going to add my name as well, just to show you exactly how it works. So I'm going to now flip my screen over to a test account that I have, and just bear with me. I'm going to take a moment to get there. So I'm going to open the X control, and I'm going to go into here, and let's now switch my screen over to there. The next X control. Perfect. So I'm going to show you actually. So what happens like this is I get a few pages that is shared with me, and obviously I have a few other pages that are important here. I'm actually going to hide them for a second so that I don't need to get involved in them right now. So X control is the most important one at the top. I'm going to also see the theme creation. These other things you don't have to worry about right now. Okay, cool. So if I go to X control, basically what happens is I see that there's a blank space here. Whereas in the other page where I was the super admin, you can see that there was the areas of competence that you can see. So this is really cool. You can already set permissions so that when you have a database that you don't want a specific user group to see, you can essentially just set the permissions of that database to be not viewable. And in this case, because we have such a comprehensive backend, you can just make that whole page not viewable, and everything related to areas of competence is already hidden from view. And immediately you can see that that's not there anymore. You can see only success plan, only daily quests, and only letters, which is also something that I got to add in back to the documentation. But what I want to show you though is that because we purposely gave permissions for the theme creation best practices, immediately we can see that these are all the things that a theme creator would need to know. For example, I would put in, the welcome, what you should expect, the step-by-step process of how to get involved in theme creation, how you're going to submit a theme. All those kind of things are going to be shown here. And for a moderator's point of view, it's all easily and very purposefully organized inside our areas of competence so that I can easily see at a moment's glance all the things that need to be worked on and who's working on them at the time. So that's very important. That's something that I think a lot of people don't know when they work with Notion, and this is how you can have really comprehensive permissions management to help you make sure that the people that should be seeing the right things are seeing the right things. Okay, cool. So flipping back to my other screen, I do want to show you still, there's more to see. So let's go back to the other screen. Let's see. I think it's right here. Oop, let's go back to this. Okay. X control. Oop. Let's see. I've gotta share my screen again, I think. It's always dangerous to change your screen in the middle of the stream just because sometimes things don't move well. There you go. Okay, so back to here in X control, and actually back to permissions. What we want to do next is we also want to show, for example, the backend for the letters, which is just our content library, our content creation flow. So we're going to go into our letters, so content creation flow, we're going to expand this, we're going to share, and we're going to make sure that yes, our contributors and leaders can edit this. So I'm going to go back to permissions, we're going to call it our content creation, and from here we're going to copy the link again just for easy access in the future. I'm going to paste that, and then now here we can copy and paste it across everything. Okay, cool. So this is really important because now we can set different people to be in different permission buckets, right? So let's say I want to set a new thing that I just want to say, you know, table people involved, right? And we can rename this better in the future, but for now, let's use this as a good example. So what we can do here is we can say, for example, I'm just going to use, let's use real examples. Let's use, for example, Veronica. Let's use examples like, you know, True. Let's use examples like Brad, like Anne, Alice. Let's use examples like Cass. We're going to use examples like Alyssa. And basically what we can do is we can track everybody and see what user group they should be a part of. So let's say I'm going to make a relation. It's going to relate to X control permissions. And now I can show that these are the people that are going to be involved in this user group. So these are the people. And just as an example, these are all moderators, right? Our first few people are all moderators. And again, that's not the comprehensive list, but that's a start. We also have, you know, our contributors. We have our leaders, right? And then we have our contributors. And again, all these things could change. And these are just our initial start. But basically we're showing that, for example, if I want to just make sure that, hey, are these people getting the right permissions? I can go in and I can make sure that, hey, all this information is correct. Under the moderators list, we do have Veronica, Drew, Brad, and Alice. Inside the contributors, we have Cass as contributing not only for contributors general. Remember, we also want to add that for the theme contributors. So we're gonna add that now. They have 2 permissions, right? So Cass will have 2 permissions right there for contributors and theme contributors. And of course, Alyssa will also get access to theme contributors, just so that we can also show that she's a collaborator on there. But the interesting thing is because she is already a leader, she has access to some certain things already, and of course our moderators would also have that. But I think it's just best practice for you to be tagged on to also the initiative that you're working on, because I just think it's very important. So maybe we can make this tag initiative instead. So now we know that this is initiative, this is collaborator. So this makes it really easy for you to see exactly how people are getting involved, what needs to be maxed out, you know, blocked out, and what needs to be given edit access or comment access or view only access. And again, just makes it really simple for you to collaborate. Awesome. I know I went a bit faster. I know Cass, you said every question I think someone might have, you answer a few seconds afterwards. You explain it thoroughly. Well, thank you. I'm glad it's helpful, and I'm glad that I'm explaining it in a way that people can understand, hopefully not going over too many people's heads. But yeah, this is like just a really quick and brief kind of showcase of how it works, basically just to recap, right? Just to make sure that everyone understands what's happening. What I did is I've created a master dashboard that shows everybody the things that they should focus on or they should see on the whole big picture of the organization, in this case the Coix3 family. You can see exactly all the different goals that we're working on, all the different key results, projects, and quests. And if you want to, you can append yourself, right? You can say that, hey, I want to get involved on a goal level, I want to get involved on a key result level or project level, and you can click inside and you can set the collaborator's name to yourself. And you can essentially then be notified every time something is done work-wise on this specific page, on this specific goal, key result, that project or task. And as well, when you're actually working on your dashboards, inside your dashboards, you can see all the downstream items showcased for you to help you consider if you should work on them or not. The next thing is making sure that the things that are blocked off are blocked off. So I showed an example earlier where actually if you're just a collaborator inside our space, just to make it easier for you to see what you need to see, the areas of competence are not visible to you. You don't need to worry about that. You only need to worry about success plans, daily quests, and letters. Simple as that. So when you log into this page, actually this whole thing will be blocked off just from the fact of setting permissions. And how do I set permissions? Well, we have something called the backend. So if I go into, let's say I just go into the areas of competence and I go back a few stages by clicking in the breadcrumbs at the top, I can see that there's a system thing that I can see, right? And inside the system, I can see all the different permissions that are basically given for each page. If I check the share page right now, I can see that contributors can comment, leaders can comment, moderators can edit. But if I go into the areas of competence, for example, it's restricted. Why? Because I specifically restricted it for our only our moderators can edit. How does that work actually? Let me show you. So let's say I had another page just randomly and I said, hey, for quarterly reviews, this should be something that is only viewable by our moderators. Fine. What happens is I click on this and I say remove and I restrict access. So it doesn't no longer inherits space settings from the parent page. I remove access. The second thing, I also again remove access. And then you can see immediately I have the same restricted button here, which basically just indicates that, hey, this page has different permissions than the master. If you're okay with that, great. If not, then you can restore. And if I click restore, then it'll restore these permissions, making it very easy and very seamless for me to actually go back and edit things that I need to edit and just make sure the permissions are set correctly. Then the next thing I did was I went inside something called Create Collaborative Dashboards, which is just a brand new page that I've made. And essentially I have this whole flow of how you can generate a new collaborator. And this is a process that anybody that's newly helping with the community can click. And essentially inside this page, you'll be able to see a lot of interesting dashboards and instructions on how to make those dashboards your own. So, and inside these dashboards, right, the best part is that the relative filters are already created so that you don't need to set anything. You don't need to set the filter to yourself. It's already ready for you to start once you start, because it's on basically collaborative contains me, and whoever me is, whoever's looking at the screen, whoever's logged in. So again, if you're logged in and looking at the exact same dashboard as someone else, you'll be able to see different content because your me is different. And of course, you can still see what everybody else is working on. So if I show ready to start, it will just show everybody's ready to start. So all the work being done in the community, which is awesome. But then what's the really important thing is that when you duplicate these pages, you can make these dashboard look and feel like your own, and you don't need to worry about how other people are looking at this dashboard. You can make your own views, make your own filters, whatever makes your workflow pop, and essentially just make it really easy for you to work and get involved and get motivated that you are actually in tune or in line with what everybody else is working on and know exactly what you can do to help. So I'm really excited, guys, because this marks the new beginning of like a big era in our community. I think it's very helpful for everybody who really wants to help and really wanted to help for a long time. It's been, asking and lamenting pretty much that, it's not easy to help, and I get it, I really do. So I'm so glad that we're now able to create a structure where everybody can really jump in and support us on perhaps the areas and values that we want to be good at. So our visions or our missions, our goals and key results as leaders, and also our projects and tasks as collaborators. And you can get intimately involved in the building of our family. Today's live stream is going to be pretty short. This is going to be it. I just wanted to make sure that all this information was passed on from me to you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask here. I'll give you guys a minute or two to ask if you have anything. But if you're like Cass and you think that I've answered your questions well enough, please don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe if you've been watching, if we've been giving you value. Join our community if you want to get involved in cool builds like this, and obviously get involved in the different initiatives that we have. We have just so many things we're working on, from world bosses to council meetings to live streams to articles to different templates, toolbox templates, learning a language. There's just so much that we're getting involved in that really there's a lot to be excited by. There's a lot to help out in the community, as well as learn specific skill sets that we can help you with, right? The whole idea is that if you get involved, we want to be getting involved in things that you want to learn from and you want to excel in, that's somehow tied into your own definition of what success means to you, so that we can help you on your growth journey and essentially grow together with you. Thank you guys so much. Okay, please enjoy. Watch the stream again if you have any questions, and I will see you guys later. Please take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week.